This is one of the most trendy running shoes out there right now, and has ended up on a ton of these sneaker YouTuber shoe lists like Seth Fowler, Elliot Page, Wear Testers, Ben Parks, and tons of others, where they've made these videos of the best cushioning ever, the most comfortable shoes for each brand, the most comfortable everyday lifestyle sneakers, and this shoe is in almost every single one of them, and it ranks super, super high. But I completely disagree, and I'm gonna show you why by cutting this thing in half, run it through all of our tests to finally figure out why I think most people are wrong about this shoe, and maybe this whole style of shoe in general, why all the YouTubers love this shoe so much, and why I think people are confusing squish with comfort. So first, what are these shoes? Well, the brand is Adidas. The style is the Adizero Evo SL. They weigh an extremely light 8 ounces. They retail for $150. They're made in China. And the way they position this product is experience the feeling of fast in the Adizero Evo SL, inspired by the innovation of record-breaking shoes in the Adizero running family, and specifically the Pro Evo 1. The Evo SL is designed for you to run in it or not, combining Adizero technology with a bold, unique, racing-inspired aesthetic. It's an evolution of speed in all aspects of life. A responsive layer of lightning strike pro foam in the midsole provides comfort and cushioning for optimal energy return. And if you do want a pair of these, check them out via the links in my description. So what are these actually based on? Where do they come from? Well, they said it's based on the Pro Evo 1, but a more detuned daily driver, daily running shoe, or even in the words of Adidas, for running or not. To me, that seems like they're really clearly implying that these can be worn as like your everyday running shoe or just as your everyday shoe, which the concept is really cool, taking a running shoe, pulling out the extreme running aspects of it and making it a more daily driver shoe. But I think they're so off on this, and I'll show you why. So first of all, what is the actual difference between this and their $500 Pro Evo 1 shoe? Well, there is a lot of similarities because you still have a similar upper. It's a different upper, but it's still clearly super breathable. Here's your breathability test, and it's nearly translucent. The lining is similar because it's very minimal. It's literally just in the heel. And you might think this really thin upper is weak, but we did the eyelet pull test on it. It took 98 pounds, 11th out of 16, so not bad results. But then you get to their actual big claims like their Lightning Strike Pro foam. And they say it's the exact same foam they put in their running shoes with the exact same stack height, their exact same drop. And they say this Lightning Strike Pro gives the ultimate cushioning and lightweight energy return. It's a really soft foam. It comes into like a 20 to 25 short. Like, just look how much I can compress this and bend this, and it is so soft. I can't believe they can even make a shoe that runs with this soft foam, let alone walking with this soft foam. So clearly this huge foam midsole is the most similar to their running shoe. And so we ran our test on it to see how performance-based it is. We did the ball drop test, bounced up 25 inches, number 5 overall. Even in comparing to some of the other super foams and actual running shoes, it did really well. The ball drop test bounced up 10 inches, which is crazy. And just out of curiosity, I wanted to run the bar drop test 10 times, 20 times, just to really see how strong this foam is. Because we did that Puma running shoe, and I could literally like rip the foam apart. It was like hand rippable. And by the end, there really wasn't much change whatsoever, not a ton of damage on the foam.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's cut them. Actually, before we do, the only thing worse than cutting hundreds and hundreds of shoes in half is filling up the pump. It literally costs me more to fill up at the pump than it does to cut these shoes most of the time. So with the help of Upside, you can put some money back in your pocket, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. And if you don't have any idea what Upside is, it's the free app that you can get cash back on gas, groceries, and even dining out. So first, all you have to do is open the Upside app, filter for the gas stations around you. Next, select participating stations, click the big claim button. Then all you gotta do is take your card or whatever, pay at the pump, and then upload that receipt, and then boom, that's cash back, baby. That's it. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. So to figure out how much you could potentially save, all you gotta do is download the Upside app. It's completely free. And if you use the promo code ROSEANVIL, it'll save you 25 cents off every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's 25 cents off of the entire first tank of gas. Every single gallon gets 25 cents off by just using the promo code ROSEANVIL. So check it out below, and thanks again to Upside for sponsoring this video. So clearly a performance foam, and even down to the outsole. Like, this outsole is clearly a performance-driven outsole, because this outsole is 1.2 millimeters thick. You know, you compare that to any other outsole, most of the time you don't see any outsole that's thinner than 2 millimeters. And that's because, once again, it is based on a running shoe, and it is partially made to be a daily running shoe. And so you've got this very, very sparse at the heel, where the Pro version doesn't have, I don't think it has anything at the heel. Pro version has it even thinner at the forefoot, where this has, at least has 1.2 millimeters thick. For a daily driver to even be positioned this as a daily driver with that much foam, with that thin a rubber, that's where, like, just right off the bat, I was like, what? People wear these for every day? Like, that seems insane
me. So then just looking at the outside and comparing it to the Pro version, what are these actually for? Well, just looking at it objectively, these are not casual shoes. They're clearly made for running. The insole super thin, the outsole super thin, the foam is ridiculously thick and squishy. All these features are clearly point to it not being a casual shoe. These are clearly running shoes. Because, you know, after 10 miles, how do you not wear through this outsole? So that's what caught me off guard when I first started looking at this video. It's like every single one of these reviewers is saying it's a casual shoe. Even Adidas is saying it's a casual shoe. And every aspect of this points to it not being a casual shoe. But what's wrong with that? Besides it being ugly as sin and just something I would never wear for any reason. But to me personally, with wearing these shoes casually and this whole concept of wearing dedicated running shoes as casual shoes is the ridiculous amount of unsupportive foam underneath your foot. Even down to the profile, like this rocker profile, that is not made for your average everyday walking gait. This is geometry specifically designed to improve your gait when you're running. Because I'm not a professional runner, so take it with a grain of salt. So they do this rocker style to prevent that same thing that you've probably felt if you had a pair of cowboy boots where you hit that heel and the forefoot just slaps over because you have that hard pivot point because it is that hard heel. And that's okay for walking. It'll still wear your body out. It's probably not the best for your body. But when it comes to running, when you put that much more force in the heel and that much more force going to the forefoot slapping down on the ground, you could see how a rocker style would come about from a running perspective. And that's a huge part of the reason why they put like 2 inches of foam underneath this thing. Because when you hit the ground, you want that energy to not just be deadened, you want it to be transferred back up into you so you can propel yourself forward, but also to transition that movement throughout the shoe. Instead of that hard slap, it rolls through the strike, which is a great concept for running. But when it comes to walking every day, when you're doing those slower strikes, you lose all stability and all support in your shoe. So it feels like you're walking in quicksand, walking on the beach, and to me, it like overly compresses and my heel wants to slide to one side or the other, even like mid-strike. And literally within wearing these and any style of shoe like this, within a couple hours, my knees hurt. The weird geometry that this forces your foot and your whole body to react to that's not made for walking. When I've worn this style of shoe to concerts, I've noticed because of the instability of the foam that all my little muscles in my legs and my feet are completely exhausted by the end of the day. Not because I've been running around and jumping at concerts and stuff, because I mostly just stand there like this, you know? But it's because almost unconsciously, all those tiny muscles in your legs and in your feet are constantly trying to balance your foot because there's no stability in here. So any movement left or right, your foot and your legs is overreacting, twitching, trying to keep you stable. Versus being really stable, or even like just barefoot where you're completely touching the ground, your foot doesn't need to do as much twisting and rolling and folding because it's like the difference between standing on ground versus standing on one of those medicine balls you do like physical training on. That's the whole concept of those physical training balls, is it does activate those muscles and you're training your twitch muscles. And so when you overtrain your twitch muscles just by standing at a concert, and that's where I'm like, how does anyone ever wear these casually or even walking? How does anyone wear these performance shoes for anything than performance? Because to me, it's like driving an F1 car as your daily driver car. And technically you do it, and even though it's one of the fastest cars in the entire world, it would struggle around the streets of Salt Lake City at 25 miles per hour. It's just the wrong tool for the job. And that's, to me, exactly what these shoes are. Even though to a lot of people, it looks and it feels like the right tool. And even if you watch some of these reviews, because I always try to do my research before these videos, you know, Seth Fowler, some of these other guys, they mention the fact that they're comfortable for short periods of time. Fowler, it was his most comfortable pair of Adidas, but he also didn't like the stack height and the rocker style. Even a fellow named Timothy Trewin ran 900 kilometers in these and he still felt like the foam was really responsive. It still ran the way they originally ran. So there's a lot of attributes to this that people really like, but there's also those little teeny caveats that everyone's saying. It's like, oh yeah, accept this, accept that, accept this. And I think that's where the big disconnect is happening, is how much people are actually wearing these and people not realizing that a shoe on your foot can affect your back and your knees and your hips, even the upper back and in your neck. Because if you're doing something weird, if you have a weird hitch in your step, even just the slight movement could wear your neck out. Probably not. But, you know, that's the point I'm trying to make. And keep in mind, like, all of this is subjective. Like this, I could be completely wrong because comfort is one of the most subjective things of all time. So now, let's cut these in half and see what's on the inside, see how much stuff they've actually stripped out of this compared to the Pro version. Is it literally just all foam you're standing on all day? Is there anything on the inside that stabilizes you? And how is this whole shoe structured? And ultimately for me, I'm trying to figure out why and what about this shoe makes it feel so unstable.
Happy Halloween, Halloween sale, 20% off the entire site. If you're on our limited edition email list, we'll give you a 5% discount code on top, so 25% off. Blood core's on theme for Halloween. We've even got some orange-like colors of leathers. It starts on the 31st today, all the way to the 3rd. 20 to 25% off the entire site. Halloween sale.
All right, we got them cut in half. And if you're not subscribed, consider pushing that little subscribe button, push the like button, because if you like this style of video, we'll do more if it performs well. You know, we're just kind of somewhat subject to the YouTube algorithm and what it likes and what you guys like. And so if you like this, I wouldn't mind doing a full series of this of the top running shoes that people wear casually and really try to debunk and really bring some transparency to, are these actually healthy for you or are they not? Is this all just people confusing squish for comfort? That's what I want to figure out. So if you want to see it, support us. Check out our handmade leather goods, check out our collaborations. All that stuff goes a lot further than you guys might think. So now, let's see what's inside. So what is on the inside? Almost nothing. It is literally just like 2 inches of foam all the way across. And then you do have one little carbon fiber looking shank. I don't know if it's actually carbon fiber. If I look really closely, I see some of the striations in it, but I can't tell if it's carbon fiber or not. See, I can bend it like that and it didn't crack and split. So it leads me to think it's maybe not carbon fiber, because every time we've bent carbon fiber like that, it cracks and splits. Other than that, that's everything. You know, you've got the outsole, little glued on 1mm bits of outsole, but other than that, you're just literally standing on the Strobel board and a little shank, and then everything else you're just standing on foam. So now you can see why these are so fucking unstable and why really for standing all day, light walking, that's not what these are made for. Because all of that instability, all those little twitches you're gonna have in your muscles unconsciously are adjusting to the instability of the shoe. It looks like it's a huge trade-off between squish underfoot and stability. And I think people are underestimating how much instability in their footwear is wearing them out. And if I'm being honest, I'm surprised that some of these brands still market these as casual shoes. Like, you know, because we've seen brands like Vibram get sued for the 5-finger shoes where they unintentionally cause some issues with people's feet by not warning them that they can actually ruin your feet and cause a lot of damage if you don't wear them correctly. How is that not the case with these? How's there not people all over the place complaining about injuries caused by inappropriate use of footwear? And maybe I'm just wrong, because I was raised in work boots and, you know, athletic footwear, Western footwear, and a lot of those are like a lot more stable. You have your foot locked into them. And maybe my body's just trained around more stable footwear. But ultimately, I think that people are confusing squish for comfort. And I think that people need to be aware that too much squish can have huge negative consequences, not just in their feet, but their entire body. So when you're wearing these kind of shoes, pay attention to more than just your feet. And I honestly will not be surprised in 2 or 3 years if people finally start realizing, especially after these are broken in and worn in, you lose even more of that support and then more of that rebound. They're just like walking around on marshmallows all day. I can't imagine this style of footwear stays popular for casual use for more than a few more years. I think it's a trend. I think it's on the whole probably more unhealthy than it is healthy. And so if you want to see more of these videos, we'll cut apart a lot of the more super foam running shoes that people are wearing casually to really try to figure this out. Because I'd like to do like some really cool slow-mo shots, seeing if you can actually tell a difference in the gait and how their muscles twitch and standing. So I honestly don't know. I don't know if every other YouTuber's wrong about it and they just haven't worn them long enough, or if I'm just completely wrong and I come from a different background of footwear. I have no idea. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your experience in these kind of shoes. Do you agree with me, or am I way off with this? And if you want to see more of these, support this, because I would like to just cover all of these and really try to answer those questions. So thank you guys for all your support. See ya.